Welcome to my class on YouTubing for the SCA. This is the first time I've taught this, although I did practice it last week. So hopefully it will go a little smoother. It didn't go badly, but hopefully it will go smoother. I'm Master Lloyd Eldred. I live in Tiradon in Atlanta. I have a couple websites, baronlloyd.org and learnfiore.org. That QR code that I will repeat at the end links to those two websites and my YouTube channel that I will talk quite a bit more throughout the presentation. So here's a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to have an introduction, and then I'm going to have a major section on planning your video, a section on video gear, both hardware and software, a section on YouTube specifics, a very brief slide on non-YouTube outlets, and draw some conclusions. First off, who am I? I've been the SCA about 35 years, give or take. I have had a long series of classes at university on modern technology in the SCA, including photography, websites, QR codes, digital business cards, all kinds of things. It's something that I enjoy as a tech nerd, and I enjoy applying it to the SCA, even though it's not even remotely period, but it does hopefully help you share your period expertise and knowledge with other people. I created a Learn Fiore YouTube channel in March of 2016, so close to 9 years ago. It is focused on a historic combat system that was published in 1409. I have, as of a few minutes ago, 171 subscribers and about 40 videos on it. So I think it's really cool that I have 170 people that are interested in my super nerdy interest in the SCA. But that's way, way, way away from the number of people that we need to be a famous YouTube influencer. Well, that's just not where I'm going or where I've achieved, and hopefully that's not your hope. You can have an impact with just a few people if they're the right people. If you enjoy my little post-it note there on the right, you need 100,000 subscribers to get a nice metal plaque from YouTube. I made up this little post-it note when I hit 150 subscribers. So why would you want to use video? So here are a couple of reasons. One, you can capture live performances. They're hard to convey as static images or words. You can document arts that don't produce a physical artifact. You can show up-close details and techniques. You can record online classes for later audiences like we're doing today. And you can add another outlet to connect with more people. People like to learn in different ways, and people like to watch videos on YouTube. So now that you think you might want to do a YouTube video, how would you do it? The first step is planning. The outline here, it's in my little test art is the outline for this class. I don't expect you to read it, but that's the way that I put this class together. So your first step is to make a plan. Decide on the what, the where, the how, the why of your video. Your plan can be an outline, it can be a script, it can be a shot list, it can be storyboards, depending on the complexity of your video. Our teacher's assistant recommended millinote.com that has a free storyboard template. The clip art here is from their website showing how a storyboard might work if you use their tool. I have not actually used their tool. I work from either an outline or a shot list most of the time. You should plan an intro, a body, and a conclusion for your presentation. So the next part of making a plan is, do you have music? Do you need to have music? Music can add a lot to how much people enjoy your video. Please do not use unlicensed music. Your video and or channel will get deleted and you will be unhappy. YouTube and Creative Commons royalty-free music is available, but medieval music is very limited on those sources. You can pay subscriptions or per song usage from sites like Pond5, Artlist.io, and Epidemic Sound. In my case, I have a little title music that's heavy on violins that I put together in a tool called Music Maker EDM that I use on my titles on my video. Your next thing, now you've got a plan, is you need to have a packing list so that when you go out to shoot, you don't leave anything that you need at home. So what costuming, props, or tools do you need? What hardware do you need to perform the shoot? Charge all of your batteries, bring extras. You will run out of something. And it's really frustrating to be out, in the field, in the woods, with a nice backdrop, taking pictures, and your battery runs out and you have to restart. An awful lot of modern gear can use a cell phone recharging battery in a pinch. So bring one and a cable, so you can plug that in if you have to. The next thing I want to talk about with planning a video is citations and copyrights. Reference your sources. Link to your website for more information. Know the copyright permissions of any museum collection images that you use. There's a link here to YouTube talking about copyright. And then at the bottom, I have the copyright notifications from the two sources that I use most often for my period historic martial arts work. So the Getty Museum near Los Angeles has an open content program that lets you use their stuff for free without restrictions. And then the translations I use come from a site called Wiktenauer, and they have a similar rules for use of their tool, of their content. Next thing for your video, plan a location. Is it going to be indoor or outdoor? Can you have a simple, non-distracting background with limited outside noise? Try to avoid a highway or other busy location. Do you have good lighting of the teachers and the things being demonstrated, whatever they are? All of that's important. And then choose a time. Are the sound and lighting good at that time? Can your assistants be available to help, either camera people or partners? I'm doing combat technique. I need somebody to fight with. So I need someone there. Do you have enough time for your shoot? Please allow at least 4 times your final planned video length for shooting, which will take multiple takes. And it just takes time to explain to everyone, all right, this shot, we're going to do this. And then you do it and somebody trips, or your spokesmodel mangles their lines, which is something I do a lot. And you have to do another take. So that's fine. Just allow plenty of time. The next thing to think about for your video, we're getting more specific here, is there's terminology called A and B roll. So the A roll is your main story, the core of your footage, probably the picture of you talking to the camera, demonstrating things for most of the video. But you want to have also, in a lot of cases, some B-roll, and make a list of those things that you want to add that are B-roll. And by B-roll, I mean close-ups or other short scenes that are filmed separately and that you cut to. It could be an image from your documentation. It could be a close-up of your hands performing an action. It could be a long-distance establishing shot showing context to the scene. All those things would fall in the category of B-roll. And you don't want to take a break from shooting the main body of your video, but you want to make sure that everything that you want to have to be able to edit together to make your video more compelling, that those get shot while you're out there. So now you're out there getting ready to shoot. Please verify your video and sound while you are shooting. I have on several occasions ended up with missing footage and or bad sound after a long day of shooting. And that is really frustrating. So play back some test footage. Watch the sound level bars move on your camera if you can. Check your focus. Check your mode settings. Make sure you're in video mode or still mode, whichever it is that you want for that particular shot. Make sure it's set correctly. Make sure you're in standard definition, high definition, or 4K, whatever it is that you want to resolution you want to set your camera in. This can be difficult in bright sun and in a noisy area. It can be very hard to see what's going on in the back of your camera. So if possible, have a small monitor and a set of headphones. You can see that my most recent addition to my camera rig is that 5-inch monitor sitting on top of my camera. I chose a low resolution, very inexpensive camera that has very high brightness. So I can use it outside on a sunny day and be able to see where I'm standing, that my sound bars are moving when I talk, those kinds of things. It gives me feedback that I'm actually shooting good good footage. And I can see the red dot appear when I go into record mode. So that takes us to gear. So I'm going to talk some about hardware, and then I'm going to talk some about software. So hardware, cell phones are fine for starting out. Modern cell phones are very high resolution. My new cell phone will shoot in 4K easily and 8K if you do a little extra work, and that's more than you need for YouTube. Our early Learn Fury videos were shot on an Android tablet on a tripod. If you are shooting a class like this where you're talking to a web camera, they can work, but the laptop built-in models are generally not great. You probably want to get something better. And definitely use a tripod or a gimbal. I'll show you pictures of those in a moment to avoid giving your viewers seasickness. So here are my tripods. You can see they're very different. The one on the top is a video tripod. It's designed so that you can pan and tilt and move the camera while you're shooting, and things will go smoothly, and you won't give people seasickness as you're moving the camera, but it's heavy and big. The one in the middle is a photo still tripod. It's fine for my video camera. It works just fine, but you don't want to be moving the camera with it because it doesn't move smoothly. You want to lock things down and have a stationary shot when you're using that tripod. And then the bottom device there is a monopod. It has only one stick. You have to hold it while you're using it. So it's not great if you're going to be filming yourself, but it is great for things where you want to be able to move around, but you want to have stability while you're taking the shot. So something like taking pictures of a battle, or I used it a lot when I was taking still pictures of my son's soccer games, because I could walk along the sideline of the soccer field, get stationary, and then bring out my big zoom lens and take close-up pictures, and they came out great because it was stabilized on the monopod. I'll show you another use of the monopod in just a moment. So having said that you can use your cell phone, you can also upgrade. So the first upgrade that is general purpose is you can move to a 35 millimeter style camera, digital camera with swappable lenses. There are a lot of those out there. There are some smaller video specific cameras that don't have swappable lenses, I think, but those are standalone video cameras are kind of uncommon nowadays, at least general purpose ones. Special purpose cameras are common. You can get a second old cell phone to show another angle, like pointing down to show slow hand work. The picture on the upper right is an old cell phone on a tripod, an articulated grip that's pointing down at a demonstration area that we can switch back and forth to with switching software for online classes. We've used that quite a bit. You can get a GoPro style camera for first-person action shots if your video requires that. They're great for taking out in the middle of a battle or into the woods with you. A monopod with a lightweight camera can be used to do crane or drone style shots. Or you can get a drone. You get a drone, be very careful. There are lots of rules and laws and policies related to drones. You can get in serious trouble. Somebody got in serious trouble in LA. They ran their drone into a firefighting plane. So be aware of that and be very careful with it. Gimbals, I'll show you a picture of those in a moment, are devices that rotate to stabilize and damp out movement. So if you need to have your camera moving, use a gimbal. You can get a gimbal handle for your phone or other camera, or you can buy a camera with a built-in gimbal, like a DJI Pocket. I will show you mine in just a moment. So here are a couple of gimbals, or part of a gimbal. So that at the top is my DJI blogging camera, and the camera is on the left of that device, and it tilts and rolls and pitches as you move around to damp out motion. And the bottom large device is part of a gimbal for my 35 millimeter camera. Now there's an additional arm and things that move and rotate that attach to that I wasn't going to set up for this picture, but it's pretty heavy and pretty massive, but it does the job if that's something you need. Frankly, I use the little camera for those moving shots. So I got a couple slides showing my gear. The DJI Pocket 2, the picture of my GoPro knockoff. You can get those for under $50 easily, or real GoPros are $250 and up, I think. There's a picture of me holding my monopod fully extended with the DJI on the top and my cell phone on the bottom, and they're talking to each other over Wi-Fi, so I can see what the camera is looking at, and it'll move and rotate with my motion, so you get nice smooth pictures. And then at the bottom there, you can see a still from one of those video shoots where I have a crane shot effectively, where I'm looking down from above at a couple of my friends fencing. So that's interesting and can give you interest in your video. I don't recommend doing a lot of it, but if you're trying to show details of something and that's the best angle, that's an option. And then the second page of my gear, I have this cheap $45 drone that I got on Black Friday. I have not used it yet, so I don't know how good it's going to work. I got something cheap just so that I could try it and see if I liked it before investing in something more expensive and fancier. So that's an option. And then on the right is my setup that I actually use for my day-to-day gear and how it has evolved currently. So it's a Canon R8, which is a mirrorless full-frame camera. I have a zoom lens on it. You can see my high brightness monitor on the top for use outdoors. And then on the right, the fuzzy bit is a shotgun microphone with a windshield or windscreen. The term of art is called a dead cat. I did not make that up. That's what people call that. And that significantly reduces the noise from wind blowing past. And it's worthwhile if you're shooting outdoors. Your next hardware upgrade to consider is sound. Bad sound can certainly make your video unwatchable. People can't hear you. They're going to tune out really, really quickly. A camera's built-in microphone can be okay, depending on the filming location and the distance. A wired shotgun mic, like I just showed you and is on the right here, is with an optional windshield, is good, is an improvement. A wired desktop mic is good for classes like this. I'm using one at the moment. A wireless lavalier mic, I'll show you a picture, can add more flexibility. You can move around and be picked up regardless of where you're standing. And please, during editing, adjust your sound levels on your video to be similar throughout the video so that somebody's watching your video doesn't have to be continuously reaching over and adjusting the volume up and down as things get louder and softer. I do watch a channel with hundreds of thousands of followers that a couple of recent videos I had to do that adjustment, and I wondered if they were sloppy or if they were trying to improve engagement to get people to come back and pay attention to adjust the sound again. Please don't do that to people. So here's a picture of my microphones. The wired desk microphone on the left is plugged in by USB to the computer. On the right are my shotgun mics, the one I showed earlier, the big one for the big camera, and then the little one there plugs into a cell phone or a tablet in the headphone jack. And we use that early on. And then at the bottom are some wireless mics that you can use, and then they're reasonably inexpensive. They charge, and then the cord on the right is, if you don't want to use the little brick and have that, pinned to you up on your chest, you can plug into the little brick, have that at your waist, and then run the smaller microphone up near your mouth. And both work, and I've used it both ways. So some miscellaneous other hardware upgrades that you might want to consider, particularly for indoor shooting. Lights can help. Reflectors can help if you're outdoors. If you want to, change the angle of the light, backdrops can help make things a little more interesting or remove distractions from the back. So all of those are my gear used for a variety of different purposes. Moving on to software. Your first software upgrades for recording live streams like this class. Zoom can record. I'm recording this using Zoom. Some of the time when I'm teaching class, I use this piece of software called OBS Studio, which I like a lot, and have made a video on that is linked there called How to Spiff Up Your Online Classes for Little or No Money. So you can go watch that if that's of interest. And that is a great tool, and it will record things. Other streaming software also has that capability. If once you have your video files either recorded through those tools or from your camera, you need to edit together. So your software upgrades could include a paid subscription. Adobe Premiere and After Effects are kind of the gold standard that a lot of people use. but they're expensive. Their retail price for them is $23 a month each, or $60 a month for all of the Adobe apps. You can occasionally get deals and discounts, but that's the current retail price for those. If you have a Mac, iMovie is free. If you have Windows, Mac, or Linux, I highly recommend a free tool called DaVinci Resolve. That is what I'm using. I used Premiere for years, but the version of Premiere that I had that was pre-subscription was old enough that it wasn't supporting my new video formats on my new devices. So I needed to upgrade in some way. DaVinci Resolve is extremely powerful. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but if you've used Premiere, it's very similar. And most of the other tools will have a very similar layout where you can see on the right, you've got a timeline with different scenes that you drop in, and then you've got a couple of views of your source scene and your destination scene. DaVinci Resolve can do editing, it can do sound mixing, it can do lighting and color correction, it can do compositing. I've used it for an awful lot of things. There is a $295 optional one-time purchase for a few more features. I have not felt the need to do that. I'm still working with the free one, and it is great. There are dozens of other less expensive, simpler, less powerful options out there. For instance, you can get Adobe Premiere Elements, but even then, it's $100, and they give you a 3-year license for the $100. I have an older version of all of the Adobe software that was pay once and have not upgraded to any of the subscription ones. So some other software you might consider. Blender is a free 3D rendering program for special effects. It's used for lots of commercial movies. I used it for a recent video I did where I was explaining a visualization called The Wall, and I used Blender to create a visual wall to show what it is that I was talking about and what it was that I was imagining in my head when I was trying to describe this visualization. And you can see that video at that link. There are tools for the iPad called Procreate and Procreate Dreams. I have not used them, but they are $10 each, and they are graphic and animation programs. And you can get free templates for a lot of this stuff from Canva and other sites. I use a Canva template a little bit later on my end title. I'll show it to you when we get to that section. All right, moving on to YouTube specifics. So you want to go to YouTube. First, you need to create a channel. To do that, you need to create or use an existing Google account. YouTube is now a Google product. It was not originally, but it was bought by Google several years ago, maybe many years ago. You log into YouTube with that account. You click on the image in the upper right-hand corner, which is your picture if you've uploaded one, or probably your initials if you haven't, to get a pull-down menu, and then you select Create or View. You can have multiple channels. I have 2 channels. One is under my modern name, and one is the Learn Fiori page. Choose a good channel name. People can access your channel by going to youtube.com/@channel name. So @Learn Fiori, as you see on one of the pictures on the right, will take you to my channel. And YouTube itself has a lot of good information for content creators. They want you to succeed so that they make money. So for YouTube, you want to have an intro scene that says something like, "Welcome to my channel. Here's the topic of this video." You want to have an outro scene that says, "Please like, subscribe, and comment." It's pretty standard. And then you probably want to have a YouTube end screen, like the one pictured here, which is a 20-second end slide with links to subscribe or to watch another video on your channel. My end screen used a free template from Canva. Cost nothing. I just downloaded it. The background gradient animates, so there's a little bit of interest to it. And the actual links that you put in to subscribe or to your videos are configured in the YouTube editor after you have uploaded your video, before you hit the button to send it live, to make it live and for other people to see it. So now I'm going to spend a couple slides talking about thumbnails. So thumbnails are the still image shown for each video on the main YouTube interface. These can make a huge difference in people choosing to watch your video. There are scores of videos on YouTube on how to create a good thumbnail. I'm going to give you a couple of tips and ideas, but I'm not going to go into huge amounts of depth. The default from YouTube is a still frame from the video you're uploading. You can pick, and as you can see, my first 5 videos here on YouTube, I just picked an interesting still from the middle of the video that showed us doing something that was appropriate. These are not very exciting. If you look at a lot of YouTube videos, you can see where these are lacking compared to other YouTube videos. So, improvement number 1, you don't have to use a still from your video. You can upload any 1280 by 720 pixel image of your choice. So the first improvement is to take a still shot with a still camera separate from your video that is representative and a little more interesting. So here's a still shot of my son and I doing a play from a dagger video. And because this is a pose shot, he's not wearing his safety glasses, and we're both looking at the camera rather than each other. It's just, something that's a little more interesting than a still shot from the middle of the video. Second improvement, add some text. That can be overdone or can be done poorly. Watch your font, your size, your colors, any text effects. Is it easy to read? If I'm overlaying text on a video still, it becomes hard to pick a color that contrasts with everything. So I have a bright yellow on the one on the right. The one on the left, I used orange, but then I put a black shadow behind it, an extrusion, so that I got a little more pop and a little more visibility against the background that the orange itself didn't give me. But I think I didn't 100% pass the is it easy to read test with that text on the left-hand one. Next thing you can do is you can add graphic elements, and that can be done well or badly. So the thumbnail for this class, when I post it, is the one in the bottom center. I'll explain the pieces of that you haven't already seen in a moment. On the upper right was an option that I considered for my wall video, where I had a still of me talking and then a still from the video, and then the text. And I eventually decided, my wife confirmed that seemed a little too busy. And then I went out and tried the artistic style for the one on the lower right. That's a Lewis chess piece that I 3D printed, a drill and a sword. So this is a video about something called a chess drill. And that's what I was trying to convey with that, and trying to make people be interested and go, what the heck is he doing? I want to click on that. And then finally, you can try clickbait. So this image here is an example of clickbait in my mind. By that I mean you won't believe the shocking result. It has typically you have a shocked Pikachu expression on the host. What's going on? I have to click on that. Why is he so surprised? And this would probably work to get people that were subscribed to my channel to click on the video. But they're tacky. They can annoy visitors. And having said that, unfortunately, they can be effective. So I don't intend to ever use this as an actual image for a real video, but I will have it on my thumbnail for this video where I am talking about YouTube and how it works, because it's a good example. So the next thing you do is you've got a couple of videos, you've done your thumbnails. Now you can look and see what worked and learn from that. So here are my 5 most recent videos I've published, and they're over the course of 8 or 9 months from February to September. And you can see the number of views that I got. The 2 most recent were posted within 4 days of each other. And the one with my artistic Lewis chess piece and sword got 30% less views than the one with the a sword fighting. So I think my artistic choice was bad. It wasn't effective. And the wall visualization video, where I have some graphics, I have a special effect and I have good text, ended up with about twice as many views. But it's a fair bit older, so it's had time to accumulate views. And the one below it, where there's no text and the picture's a little oversaturated, a little overexposed, got 158 views. So some of that is the topic. Some of that is, what people are interested in, but some of it is also how interested people were at looking at, whether the thumbnail dragged them in. So other things to consider when you are working on your thumbnail is take a look at the thumbnails in your viewing history. Look at the videos that you have watched recently. What do they have in common that got you to click on them? Why were you interested enough to say, I want to watch that? Can you copy some of those approaches? Are there elements of that that you can copy? Now, one of the things that I've learned that I haven't actually tried yet is YouTube will let you upload 3 different thumbnails for your video. They will randomize what people see for a little while and then lock in the one that got the most clicks. So that's a pretty slick way to do things. And that explains, hopefully, if you watch a lot of YouTube and you see a video that you're going to come back to and its thumbnail has changed, that's what's going on. They were randomizing it to figure out what people are going to like and what people are going to respond to. Analytics. So YouTube offers a lot of data beyond just the viewer count, the number of views that the channel has had on your channel and on your individual videos that they call analytics. And you can use them to learn what parts of your approach are working. And when your audience is clicking away, you can see, at 33 seconds into the video, I lost 20% of my audience. Well, what was I doing there? Why did they decide they had had enough and they clicked away? So you can learn from that. There's a lot more detail there. I have not spent a lot of time playing with that because that's not, engagement beyond a certain level is not really my goal with the channel. But if that's something you're interested in, there's an awful lot of detail there and a lot of things you can learn and can improve with using their data. So talk briefly about monetization. This is not something that I do or care about particularly, but I get asked about it a lot. So it's a YouTube class. Let's talk about that briefly. You can get paid for people watching your YouTube videos. To be eligible, you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers and then meet one of these other requirements. Have 4,000 valid public watch hours in the last year or 10 million valid public short views in the last 90 days. And here's the link to the source from Google that explains that. My 171 subscribers is an awful long way from 1,000. I'm not monetizing anytime soon. If you are monetized, you can earn 1 to 3 cents per view from YouTube, depending on the length of the video. Basically, how many ads can they show during your video? So fame and fortune are possible, but very unlikely. Some people do make a living from this, but it is very much the exception. If you want to do the math for one of your favorite YouTubers with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, multiply how many videos they make per week, how many views those videos typically get. You can look at a video and see that information. Multiply it by 2 cents, which is an average of 1 to 3. Subtract some production expenses that they have to pay for a meal. Are they reviewing a restaurant? Are they going on some expensive trip? That all costs, and that gives you a feel for their weekly income from YouTube. There are other sources of income which you can use if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, or even if you do, and most of the people with hundreds of thousands use all or most of these. You can use Patreon or YouTube membership, and that'll give you a monthly payment from fans. You generally have to offer them some bonus content in order to have them be willing to pay you. There's a service called Coffee, which offers one-time donations, memberships, sales. You can sell merchandise, hats and t-shirts or stickers. You can use affiliate links, where you get a cut of the sales from people who follow your links to Amazon. I do use affiliate links, and I make a little bit of money doing that. Almost all of that money is from my modern technology website. People buying accessories to go with their electric car or buying cameras or that kind of thing. On a good month, which is unusual, I will make $20. So I am not going to be retiring on my affiliate link money, but it does help to cover the cost of running a website and having a domain and that kind of thing. And you can also have sponsorship. You can put an ad in the middle of your video and talk about Squarespace or some other VPN or whatever, but you have to make an agreement with that company in order to get paid for advertising their product in the middle of your video. So here's some quick other options if you don't want to go to YouTube or you want to spread out beyond to YouTube. TikTok, which briefly didn't exist recently, but is back currently, allows videos from 3 seconds long to 60 minutes long, with their average being 43 seconds. So it's very different from YouTube. It's also, all of these in this particular block are vertical format. So as if you were holding your phone straight up. YouTube Shorts are up to 3 minutes long. Instagram Reels are up to 3 minutes long. And Facebook Reels are 3 seconds to 3 minutes long, to a minute and a half long, sorry, 90 seconds. And then Facebook also has long form videos that are up to 4 hours long. I don't believe I've ever seen one of those, but it's there. They advertise it. It's possible to do. YouTube, however, has the largest audience for long form. TikTok and Instagram compete on the short form stuff. A lot of people will do both. You know, it's I just did a YouTube video. It's about this. Here's your really quick clip, and they'll do a trailer for the YouTube video and post it to TikTok to try to get you to engage there and then move over and watch the long video on YouTube. So here are my conclusions, and here's the QR code again if you want these slides or my websites or anything like that. So YouTube is another outlet for sharing your SCA interests. Making a good video takes planning. Good videos are possible with the gear you already own and free software. You do not have to spend any additional money. Reaching an audience on YouTube takes patience and some additional trial and error. Do it for the joy of sharing something you enjoy and for finding other people that enjoy that, not for the very small chance of fame and fortune. Be prepared for comments from trolls. I have not had that problem, but some of the people I talked to when I practiced this class mentioned that they had that problem. You can delete them or block the person, so they can be dealt with, but they are annoying and something that you might have a problem with. And again, these slides are available at my baronlloyd.org site, and the video will be posted shortly to Learn Fiori.